Have you ever wondered about the hidden stories that lurk behind the beautiful landscapes of Vietnam? Vietnam, a Southeast Asian country known for its bustling cities, Buddhist pagodas, and breathtaking landscapes, is a place that holds a rich tapestry of culture and history. From the emerald waters of Halong Bay to the vibrant city life of Ho Chi Minh City, its beauty is undeniable. But beyond the surface of this captivating land, there are stories untold, chapters that remain hidden from the eyes of the world. The country's history is not merely a tale of vibrant traditions and scenic beauty. It also carries the weight of darker times that have shaped the nation we see today. Vietnam, like many nations, has its share of shadows, chapters that are often overlooked in the face of its present-day allure. These stories, these dark chapters, are not meant to tarnish the image of Vietnam. Rather, they serve to enrich our understanding of this fascinating country. They are the tales of resilience, of a people's struggle, and their triumphant rise from the ashes. They are stories of the human spirit unyielding in the face of adversity. Our purpose today is not to cast a shadow on the magnificent landscapes and vibrant culture of Vietnam, but to shed light on the lesser-known aspects of its past. We aim to delve beneath the surface, to uncover the stories that have been swept under the rug of history. We believe that to truly appreciate the beauty of this country, one must understand all facets of its identity, both the light and the dark. So, as we embark on this journey, we invite you to join us, to explore the unseen corners of Vietnam's history, to shed light on the shadows, and to gain a deeper understanding of this complex and beautiful land. Prepare to delve into the shadows of Vietnam's past. Our journey begins in the late 19th century, the start of French colonization. At this time, Vietnam was a land of lush landscapes and rich traditions, but the arrival of the French brought about a period of profound change. The French colonizers saw Vietnam not as a country, but as a resource to be exploited. They mined its land for precious metals and gems, harvested its forests, and reaped its fields for exotic spices and lucrative cash crops. The people of Vietnam, the rightful owners of the land, were pushed into servitude, toiling under the harsh sun to enrich foreign masters. The Vietnamese people, known for their resilience and spirit, were not broken by these hardships. Instead, they found strength in their shared struggle. Their culture, which had always been a tapestry of community and cooperation, became a crucible of resistance. Stories of their ancestors' bravery were whispered in the fields, and songs of hope echoed in the night, keeping their spirits alive. This period of French colonization was a dark chapter in Vietnam's history, but it also planted the seeds for future conflicts. The exploitation and the hardships faced by the Vietnamese people led to rising discontent and a thirst for independence. This unrest eventually culminated in a series of movements and rebellions that would shape the country's future. The French may have thought they were simply taking advantage of a distant land, but they were also sowing the seeds of their own downfall. The spirit of resistance they sparked in the Vietnamese people would grow into a force that could not be ignored and would eventually lead to their expulsion from the country. So, as we dive deeper into the dark side of Vietnam, let's keep in mind the resilience of its people. Their struggle was not in vain. Their resistance was the spark that ignited the flame of independence, a flame that would eventually light their way out of the darkness. This was just the beginning of a tumultuous journey. Fast forward to the mid-20th century, Vietnam found itself in the midst of a devastating conflict. A brutal war raged on Vietnamese soil, a war that would forever scar the nation. The Vietnam War, a bitter contest of ideologies and power, set the stage for a saga of suffering and resilience. The conflict, spanning from the mid-50s to the mid-70s, saw the North Vietnamese forces pitted against South Vietnam and its principal ally, the United States. The war was a cauldron of violence and destruction with no respect for life or liberty. The impact on the population was profound. Everyday life was thrown into chaos. Schools became battlegrounds. Homes were transformed into rubble. Rice fields, once the lifeblood of the Vietnamese economy, were turned into minefields. The war claimed the lives of an estimated 2 million civilians, but it wasn't just the physical destruction. The psychological impact was equally devastating. Fear and uncertainty became constant companions. Family members disappeared, never to be seen again. The war created a generation of orphans, their innocence lost to the horrors of conflict. The atrocities committed during this period were numerous. The My Lai massacre stands out as a stark example. In March of 1968, American soldiers killed more than 500 unarmed civilians, a majority of them women, children, and elderly people. The war also saw the extensive use of chemical weapons. Agent Orange, a toxic defoliant, was sprayed over vast areas of Vietnam, causing long-term health problems and birth defects that persist even today. But statistics alone can't capture the full extent of the devastation. They can't convey the tears shed, the screams that echoed through the night, or the silent prayers for peace. Despite the war's end in 1975, its shadows lingered, casting a pall over the nation. The physical wounds may have healed, but the psychological scars remained, etched deep into the collective memory of the Vietnamese people. And yet, the resilience of the Vietnamese people was about to be tested even further. The war ended, but the battle for survival was far from over. Vietnam, a nation scarred by conflict, faced a daunting future. The aftermath of the war was a landscape of devastation. Cities were reduced to rubble, farmlands lay barren, and the economy was in ruins. The country's economy, once buoyant, was now a hollow shell of its former self. The war had drained the nation's resources. The once flourishing rice fields, the lifeblood of Vietnam's economy, were now barren wastelands. The challenge was Herculean, but the Vietnamese, a resilient people forged in the crucible of adversity, were far from defeated. The government and the people of Vietnam knew they had to pick up the pieces and start rebuilding their shattered nation. They set to work with a determination that was nothing short of inspiring. From the cities to the countryside, they began to rebuild, brick by brick, field by field. The task was immense, but the spirit of the Vietnamese people was indomitable. In tandem with physical reconstruction, there was also a social reconstruction to undertake. The war had torn apart families, communities, and the very fabric of Vietnamese society. The government implemented various programs aimed at healing these social rifts. They encouraged reconciliation, unity, and the reintegration of former combatants into society. These efforts were not without their challenges, but they were necessary steps on the path to healing a nation. The government also sought to revive the economy. They implemented economic reforms, encouraged foreign investment, and focused on sectors like agriculture and manufacturing. Slowly, the economy began to recover. It was a long, arduous journey, but the Vietnamese were no strangers to adversity. The people of Vietnam had survived the unimaginable, and their journey was far from over. The war had tested their resolve, but they emerged stronger, more resilient, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The rebirth of Vietnam was a testament to the indomitable spirit of its people, a nation reborn from the ashes of war. In the heart of modern Vietnam, the echoes of its dark past still resonate. In the bustling cities and tranquil countryside of Vietnam, the past is never too far away. The remnants of historical struggles are etched into the nation's identity, molding its present and shaping its future. Vietnam's dark history has left an indelible mark on the nation, casting long shadows that still influence the country today. These shadows manifest in the ongoing social issues that the nation grapples with. The legacy of war has left deep-rooted psychological scars, with generations affected by the trauma of conflict. Politically, Vietnam's past is a constant presence. The country's journey from a colonized land to a war-torn nation, and finally, an independent country, has shaped its political landscape. The government's policies and decisions are often influenced by a desire to avoid the mistakes of the past, while also honoring the sacrifices made by countless Vietnamese. Economically, Vietnam's history is a tale of resilience. Despite the destruction wrought by war and political upheaval, Vietnam has emerged as one of Southeast Asia's most dynamic economies. Yet the scars of the past are evident in the country's economic disparities and challenges. The struggle to balance growth with equity to ensure that the fruits of prosperity are shared by all is a direct consequence of the nation's tumultuous past. As we delve deeper into the shadows of Vietnam's past, we see a country that has been shaped by its history, yet refuses to be defined by it. The Vietnamese people, with their indomitable spirit, have taken the lessons of the past and used them to build a brighter future. Their resilience and determination are a testament to the strength of the human spirit. This is the unseen Vietnam, a country shaped by its dark past, yet standing strong in the face of adversity.